All right, shalom, shalom to the nation of Israel, shalom. Slakia got disconnected in a previous video, but we're gonna read this here scripture again as we was reading before. Get another precept or two and close out, Lord willing. All right, this is Zephaniah 3 and verse 19. Reading it again, it says, "Behold, it says, at that time will I undo all that afflict thee, and I will save her that halteth, and gather her that was driven out." And that's our people that was driven out, right? We were driven away. Okay, and I'm gonna get this real quick. Okay, this is James 1 and verse 1. It says, "James, a servant of God and of the Lord Yahweh Shai Mashiach, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greeting." Okay, and we'll get that same verse in the GNT really quickly, right? And it says, "From James, a servant of God and of the Lord Yahweh Shai Mashiach, greetings to all God's people, okay, scattered over the whole earth, whole world, Salakia, okay, right? And our people has been what? We've been scattered, okay, to the four corners of the earth. Okay, so that's who this message is for, okay? The kingdom of heaven and fame will go to Israel, man. All right? You know, and Lord willing, we'll be a part of that number, and we can't wait. Okay? Go back to that verse one more time. And it says, "And I will get them praise and fame in every land." Right? We just read them being scattered abroad, right? Okay, they went. They're at the four corners of the earth, in every land where they were put to shame. Right? A mockery, reproach, a proverb, a byword, all of that, man. You know that Israel is going to have the last laugh. You know, the Israelites, right? Chiefly the elect of the nation of Israel first, and the 2/3, man. The 2/3 will come back, born in their right minds, to basically receive the kingdom of heaven, okay, and also, be blessed too as well. All right. This is Second Esdras. Uh, see, I want to start at here. All right, and this is all speaking on the nation of Israel. All right, but mainly. Um, I'm actually gonna get this. Nah, I'm not gonna get that. I'm just gonna go straight to the point. All right, this is Second Esdras 2 and verse 33. It says, "I Esdras received a charge of the Lord upon the Mount Oreb, that I should go unto Israel. But when I came unto them, they sought me at naught. They set me at naught, and despised the commandment of the Lord. And therefore I say unto you, O ye heathen," right? Just talking about the Israelites, okay, in context, So, and it says, "That hear and understand, look for your shepherd. He shall give you everlasting rest." Okay, and the shepherd, the sheep in the scriptures are all, obviously, the nation of Israel. Okay, I'm gonna get that just real quick to back it up, right? Proving, hey, look, the kingdom of heaven, all right, and that fame is going to Israel, man. All right, and it says, it's Matthew 15 and 24. It says, "But he answered and said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel." All right, so and that's red letter Yahweh Shai. All right, that's speaking. So the shepherd, right, is the sheep is Israel, and the shepherd is Yahweh Shai, right? And it says, um, "For he is at nigh, for he is nigh at hand, that shall come in the end of the world," right? The end of basically the age, the eon, okay, the end of Esau's rulership. Okay, I believe it tells you that in second Esdras, the sixth chapter, that Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that follow it. All right, it says, "Be ready to the reward of the kingdom." That's the point, man. The kingdom of heaven. Okay, it says, "Be ready to the reward of the kingdom." Okay, "For the everlasting light shall shine upon you forevermore." Okay, the everlasting light is going to shine upon the Israelites. Okay, And it says, flee ye. It's like it says, flee the shadow of this world. It says, receive the joyfulness of your glory. I testify my Savior openly. All right, and it says, I receive the gift that is given you, and be glad, giving thanks unto Him that have led you to the heavenly kingdom. Right, and we on that walkway, man. We on that pathway. Okay, doing the will of Yahweh Shemel Shai. Okay, doing the work of the Lord. We basically want to be on that highway, man. We want salvation, right? We want to be saved. Okay, and it says, um, I'll continue reading on. It says, arise up and stand. Behold, the number of those that be sealed in the feast of the Lord, which are departed from the shadow of the world. Right, so they left the ways of the world, man. Right, okay, they left behind. They changed themselves. Right, okay, they're no longer the so-called old man. They put on a new man. Right, they put on garments of righteousness. Okay, basically being found, blameless in a sense to the eyes of the Lord, man. All right, and it says, and receive glorious garments of the Lord. It says, take thy number, O Zion, and shut up those of thine that are clothed in white, which have fulfilled the law of the Lord. Right, so these guys, the scriptures tell you that, um, in the book of Revelations, that the elect basically would be doing the Lord's will, man. And he also will be keeping the commandments. You know, um, let me see. I'll get that precept real quick. I want to say it's 12 or 17. All right, and this is Revelation 12 or 17. It's saying that the dragon was wroth with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her seed. Okay, the remnant. All right, the 1/3. And it says, which keep the commandments of God and have the testimony of Yahweh Shah Mashiach. All right, so that goes that part in what? In keeping of the commandments. All right, and it says, the number of thy children when thou longest for is fulfilled. Beseech the power of the Lord, that thy people which have been called from the beginning may have followed. And it said, I, Esdras, saw upon the Mount Zion a great people, whom I could not number. Right, tell you the same thing in the book of Revelations. All right, the 7th chapter. Right, it gives you the 12,000 out of each tribe, and then basically proceeds to say that the innumerable multitude, that innumerable multitude are all Israelites. Okay, and it says, whom I could not number, and they all praised the Lord with songs. And it says, and in the midst of them there was a young man of a high stature, which is Yahweh Shai, taller than all the rest. Okay, and it says, and upon every one of their heads he set crowns. Now I'm gonna go back to this here. We was kind of looking at the artwork, all right, and things of that nature. Just giving Jake, or people, the people visual. There was I believe there was a picture somewhere in here. Okay, just something similar to this here. Okay, right, the Lord just sitting crowns on the head. And this is just artwork. This is just imagery to give a depiction of what it may look like. You know, I'll just kind of click on this here. Okay, all right, that crowning ceremony. Okay, that's what we're into. All right, and it says, and he said, what I leave off at? And it says, and upon every one of their heads he set crowns, and was more exalted, which I marveled at greatly. So I asked the angel and said, Sir, what are these? He answered and said unto me, These be they that have put off the mortal clothing and have put on the immortal, and have confessed the name of God. Now are they crowned and receive palms, right? Okay, they're receiving a victory, man. All right, overcoming the beast, the system, the MOTB, walking that fiery trial and tribulations. man, they came out victorious, man, on the other side. Okay, the Lord is going to help the elect of the nation of Israel get there. Okay, and it says, then said I unto the angel, what young person is this that crowneth him and giveth them palms in their hands? Okay, and like I said, it's Yahushua. So he answered and he said unto me, it is the Son of God, okay, whom they have confessed in the world, okay, and we've confessed Yahweh Bashim El Shai, right? Okay, we've done the work, we're doing the will, okay, and it says, then began I greatly to commend them that stood so stiffly for the name of the Lord, right? Because we're gonna have to stand in great boldness, man. Basically, Esau is gonna, try to come down, with the sin in the world is like the hammer, right? He's gonna basically outlaw all of this, man, and it's basically gonna be illegal to talk about what we're talking about. It's gonna be taboo, man. If you say these words or if you say this or do this, the punishments and crimes are gonna be extremely harsh, okay? And it's the same thing as they done it before, okay? And it says, then an angel said unto me, go thy way and tell my people, right, the Israelites, what manner of things and how great wonders of the Lord thy power thou hast seen, right? So, he's seen these things, man. He's seen the vision. He's seen the people being crowned. He's seen the Israelites getting the kingdom of heaven. He see the praise and the fame in the earth, right? The glory given to the nation of Israel, okay? And that's the point, of the lesson, man, is the kingdom of heaven and fame will be given to the nation of Israel, man, in Israel only. All right. Um, and yeah, that's pretty much all I have. Through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemal Shai. Hey, look, the title of today's lesson was the kingdom of heaven and fame and praise and honor and glory, right, will be given to the nation of Israel, man. Right? They're gonna be right next, you know, the elect. All right, the 144,000 is gonna be right there, man. Standing, you know, beside Yahweh Shai, man. All right, I'm kind of get this Pictionary, okay? The crowning ceremony, right? The Lord's gonna give it to His men, man. All right. Let's see here, you know. Yeah, but you get you get the point, okay? And like I said, I'm just showing, this for imagery purposes. So, because we got to be visionaries, right, within the truth. Okay, but yeah, like I said, that's pretty much all I have through the spirit and power. Yahweh Shema Shah, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying first and foremost to the hopeful elect. But prior to getting out of here, we want to give all infinite honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Harakadash. Double honors to the elders, man, and our apostles, that great millstone who rule and teach well. Peace, blessings, and salutations be to the hopeful elect, scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. All right, Kwam Yasha Allah, Ababa Ball, and Shalom.